Yeah. All right. So it looks like it's going. That's cool. No idea how the audio is turning out, actually. I just finished hooking this up probably 10 minutes ago. So either you can hear me or you can't. I honestly don't know. So, first live stream, really didn't want to do nothing fancy. You know, just kind of heads up. One, a heads up. Two, just kind of see how this goes. Never know, I might turn around and start doing it once a month or managing to do anything on time. That would be great. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. Spoiler alert. So, what am I hoping to pretty much get done with this? On time, always the gold standard. Never going to get it, but it's always nice to have a goal. Right now, I've got several things planned. Got no problem saying that. Try to finish the rest of Digimon Adventure, at least for the first season. I'll probably do a second season a little bit after. But I've still got even a few other things that I didn't finish from when I was just doing text reviews. Which, yeah, I'm not super about that. So, kind of take it as it comes. Uh, I've always tried to kind of stick to a theme. Like for a month, I'll do werewolves, did that, or Lethal Weapon, tried to do that for a month. That fell through. Thankfully, I think it's kind of worked its way out. Another thing that I've had kind of thoughts on is kind of branching out. Doing reviews is always nice, but like with this, doing live chats, doing kind of branching out a little bit. And one of the things I've thought about, and I've actually kind of put a couple irons in the fire for two things. Now that I think about it. One was commentaries, just kind of recording audio commentaries that I can throw up, and kind of like little watch-alongs without having to worry about copyright infringement at least. I've already got one of those planned, which I'll actually go into the next one. But I'm thinking about probably dropping another one sometime this week, just to kind of test it out, see how it works. I got a little recording device for the audio, just because it was cheap, easy to grab, and then gives me something to kind of test it out with. Don't want to splurge, gets a bunch of fancy stuff that I'm not going to end up using, which is saying a lot because I spend a lot of money just getting the setup I have here. Brand new desktop monitor. Actually, accidentally got monitors because I'm not smart enough to check what's in my Amazon cart. So, I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm probably really lucky I didn't get 1,000 jelly beans. I should have got the jelly beans. But I think it's something to kind of look into. I've always liked commentary tracks on DVDs and Blu-rays, just kind of a little behind-the-scenes stuff. That's one of the things I've always liked about movies and television, is just hearing those really kind of odd behind-the-scenes stories. So maybe try something like that. Just for fun, me and my friend, well, one of my friends, Travis, did it for Jurassic Park 10 years ago, I think. We just threw the movie on, and then we were just like, all right, we're just gonna talk, point out this is really cool, that's really cool, this sucks, oh my god, this is pants cracklingly scary, this is fantastic. And at the time, I'd read the book, so I was dropping book facts, but unfortunately, all of my friends have now either read the book or listened to the book on tape. Which I don't think it's even on tape anymore. You got to call it something else, but you get the gist. So I think it's something. It'd at least be interesting. Like I said, I already talked to my friend Travis, same guy. We've got one that we do plan to do later this year. And then I think I'll probably do one sometime this week, just because I can, really, honestly, and test it out. And I'm on vacation from my actual job, so I've got time to do it. The next part that I've got some irons in the fire is actually having sort of like guest reviewers with me. Like my friend Travis, I already talked to him about doing one, which will probably very much be later this year, possibly in April, because I know he has vacation time then. So I might try to sync up our days off. Just kind of see how that goes. But I am definitely looking forward to that. It is something I broached with him back in November, December. I think it was end of November. But we probably optimistically will get to it around April. I don't know if I'll release it then. A goal in mind of when to do it, when to release it, all that. But you never know. Things change. Especially one thing I didn't plan on doing as early as I'm probably going to do it, which will be April. Ironically enough, a lot of things happening in April. And this is also my 5th year of doing this. Consistency aside. So I kind of want to do something to kind of commemorate that. And it just so happens that there is something I can do to commemorate it. So I'm looking forward to kind of doing that. So kind of branching out that way. Hopefully with a brand new computer that isn't an old laptop, because I've been having to use an old Chromebook to transfer everything over since I got this new camera. Because otherwise I'd have to jump through so many hoops to do everything. Actually, I've got this, a very old Android phone that I used to do. I did the first couple of videos on with just a dinky little editing app. That's why I haven't been having intros or outros. I used to do them on my regular phone, but once again, Android very much doesn't like you to put apps on the SD card, so you run out of room exceptionally fast, especially with things like YouTube and Instagram, things like that. Run out of space ridiculously fast. So I couldn't put even 5-minute videos on one, which I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, hey, maybe we should just get to the point quicker. But anybody who knows me knows I like to blow myself up a little bit. And yeah, might as well. You know, if you can't, like, actually, like I always say, if nobody else will blow up your ego, just blow yourself. 7 minutes in, and I just made a good joke. Yay me. But lo and behold, hopefully I can figure out the editing software. I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. But it got me to where I am, kind of started me down this road. And that would be a lot of the reviewers that I made sure to plug when I first started. Like Decker Shadow. He's definitely a really big inspiration. He did a video over, actually I think it was April, May, June, right in there somewhere, where he kind of went into detail about how he got started, how he got going. And definitely he right out of the gate said, you just kind of got to bite the bullet and do it. It's kind of you got to run before you can walk type of deal. And it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a bit of a fight, but if you stick to it, you can do it. And that's kind of what kicked me off from doing written reviews on Facebook to start to do YouTube. I'm sure I've talked about it before. But that's what kind of one of the things that definitely gave me a kick in the pants to get going. Another one, a lady on Instagram I follow. She does decals for cars and stuff. Really good work too. I asked her, sent her a message one day. She's doing a little, ask me anything type of deal. And I asked her, because she's been very open about not having a very good self-image. And I asked her, how do you get used to it? How did you kind of get to where you are, where now you've got no issue? Like, here's a picture. I'm out walking the dog. Here's this, here's that. And she very kindly gave me advice of, you just have to do it. It's kind of, you have to face the fear of it. And eventually you'll get to the point where you don't mind it. Like, even just doing this a year ago, I would have been very scared to do this. But even I can tell that just doing the videos since I started, because the very first video I did had nothing in me. It was all background and audio. And from there, I got much more comfortable being in front of the camera, or any camera really, which very ironic because in communications class in high school, I was well known for getting up in front of 15 to 18 people and just talking. It's kind of what I do. It's very much what I'm known for in my friend groups and at work. But doing it in front of people is a lot different than doing it on camera. I'm sure that somebody can plug other media where that's a thing. But for me, this has definitely been a bit of a growing experience. I've always liked talking movies. It's one of the things I've always been able to break the ice with. Now, granted, I haven't seen a lot of movies or television, especially television. Growing up, didn't have cable or satellite or anything like that, so I just had basic TV, NBC, CBS, Fox, uh, CW. I could do a rant on that one, but so not a lot of television. Even to today, I don't watch a whole lot of TV, and can't really get too much on that. TV's basic problem is really cable. You get 10, 12 episodes. Here you go. Here's your story. There's no BS, no filler. Whereas with more traditional 22 episode and change seasons, you end up with the filler episodes, the ones that just kind of like, all right, that was fine. It was okay. But I digress. I don't think TV isn't really a big deal. It's not really why I started doing reviews. No, I mean, I'll be first one in line to tell you, oh, Game of Thrones was really good, but it got really bad at the end. Or I'll say, no, this show started bad, it got good, then it got bad again. I got no real problem with that, but reviewing it is a lot different than reviewing a movie, especially for those 22 episode seasons. Whereas with what I've been doing with Digimon lately, it's here's 10 episodes, here's what happens, there you go. Here's the next 10, there you go. Here's, just covering arcs like that. But with traditional 22 episodes, it's a lot to deal with, even if you take out a lot of the filler, because it peaks and valleys. I like television, but watching it versus binging it is really weird. Because, oh, this episode was good. All right, let's hope next week is good. Versus, it's already out. I'm just going to go for it. Like, I would definitely turn. But you never know. So, at least anything more. That's pretty much everything I've got planned. What I should address is back when I was doing text reviews, I wasn't doing a whole lot. I was actually when I quit, I was in the middle of doing Dragon Ball. I'd actually just finished Dragon Ball and 5 movies that they had. Again, Dragon Ball, very much love it. As you can see, I'm definitely an anime guy. DC, Marvel. Yeah. Like, definitely a really big guy in that. And I do plan on finishing Dragon Ball at some point. The Dragon Ball franchise, I should say. But it's ridiculously long. Doing that would be like doing One Piece over here. It's incredibly large, incredibly detailed. So if you happen to have been, I hate to bust some bubbles, but don't really expect me to be getting into that anytime soon. Future plans, don't co-reviewing with my buddy. Nothing is particularly set in stone. Too much. One thing I do kind of to get to, which is kind of my goal, and in terms of quality, I guess I should say, is getting to that reviewer point, kind of backtracking a little bit. Because I like to get off topic. It's the closest thing I've got to charm, really. But I started watching YouTube reviewers back in I think it was October, November 2013. And back then it was one of the big ones was Channel Awesome with the Nostalgia Critic. Watched all of his stuff up to then, and that was right about a little bit after, might have been 6 months, a year or so after Rob Walker brought the character back and kind of started doing the Nostalgia Critic again. And anybody who's been on YouTube and was a fan of that knows about all the Channel Awesome issues that they had 4 years ago. I'm not going to go on a big lecture about it, but I did. I unsubscribed. I stopped watching for years. The only one I did go back and watch was the Room review, which was probably the first review where I was like, "Wow, this is damn good." So I will give him that. And I, before I quit watching, the quality did go up. I will admit that, and I do hope to one day get to a quality kind of like that. Now I know it won't be exactly like that. It'll be much more me. But from there, I went into other reviewers, Decker Shadow, Sean Chandler. All those guys all have their own flair, their own way of doing it. And I absolutely love both of their channels. Absolutely great. I've even kind of taken bits and pieces of it for myself, which it's a guy talking to a camera. It's not a whole lot of extra work. But other things I did kind of definitely drew inspiration from, like having the collection behind me. That one I borrowed from Linkara. He does comic book reviews mostly. He also did he also is in the middle of doing, I guess I should say, or close to the end of doing, a review series called History of Power Rangers, which I'm very much enjoy it. So, and Found Flicks, another YouTube channel that kind of reviews horror films. Very much suggest checking them out. Very good. I'll try to link them somewhere if I can, or at least I'll throw them up on the page. Those are definitely all channels I watch every time something new comes out. Check it out because it's always worth a watch, just for the charm and charisma. So points to them. Got to give them that. God, what else? Honestly, I'm more surprised. It says we are unstable. Connection unstable. Okay. Are we stable again? The connection stable? It should be stable. It should be exceptionally stable because I got an Ethernet cable connected to this computer. Even went out and bought one. Very proud of myself for that one. But what are you going to do? One thing I've kind of been thinking about for a good 5 years now, but I've never really had an iron in the fire for it. Is back way even before I even started doing the written reviews, I put it out there. Hey, if I started doing reviews, who would be interested? And a lot of really good friends were like, yeah, I'd be totally up for that. Now, how much of them were actually interested in it versus just trying to give me a little bit of good vibes, I honestly couldn't tell you. Absolutely adore both sides of that. Very much appreciate them. But another good friend of mine, Anna, old coworker, still a good friend. She instantly went into, well, you better, like, if you're gonna drink, I'm in. Like, I'm totally in. Why are you unstable? Yeah, I should not have asked that question while looking at myself with curly, floofy hair and this. I still don't know what I'm going to do with this, in all honesty. Because it's thick, it's in, but then there's this. I look like an Amish fellow, which just says a lot because I'm not an outdoorsman. I'm a fat guy, and fatty needs air conditioning. Like, it's, no. There's a reason the camera is always from here up. Like, I assure you people, I've seen my body. This is as good as it gets, and from here, it's literally and metaphorically all downhill. It's not good. And anyway, she was very, very go do your thing, but I'm 100% on board with just watching shots because as a freaky fast, hint, hint, wink, wink, delivery driver working with her as my manager, naturally we had to go out for several work meetings, which really means let's go have a couple of beers. 2 mixed results. But that definitely gave one thing I told her when she said that was like, if I do the room, I'll definitely do that. And I'm not openly announcing doing it right now, but it is kind of this idea that's always been floating in the back of my head when I got to a YouTube point, was doing a review of The Room and probably having drinks, which the first time I watched the film, I did have drinks. And anybody who's ever, if you have not seen Tommy Wiseau's The Room, find somebody who has, because they'll tell you exactly what I'm about to tell you. It is a horrible masterpiece. It is like every pillar that would make up a good production crumbled, fell into each other, and somehow held up this structure. Like it fails perfectly into a masterpiece. Task failed successfully is the best way to put it, really. So it's not a solid iron in the fire. I might do, depending on how the commentary track comes out, I might do that. Just because I'm pretty sure, I'm not a smart man, but I'm pretty sure YouTube is not a big fan of, here is 90 minutes of a guy watching a movie with a little earpiece in so he can hear the dialogue, just doing shots, screaming constantly about why are they wearing tuxedos while playing football, drink. I get it. She doesn't love him. Drink. Oh my God. R&B is coming on. Look away, children. Look away. Do a shot or two. I'd advise doing two. Spoiler warning: if you're going into the room and you hear R&B, close your eyes until it's over. Just there you go. There's my PSA for the day. But it's definitely. Why is the connection not stable? We good? Cool? I think we're cool. But I mean, I've almost been tooting my own horn here for I get tired of you. So, kind of let that. Probably ought to just wrap this up then. So The Room, probably audio. I might even do an actual review to kind of go along with it, just so I don't have to watch it twice, which I'll have to do anyway. But so that's kind of the thing. I hope to get Digimon would be great to finish this week because the next 2 arcs are definitely my favorites. They're the big ones. When I think back to the show, these were always the 2 big ones. Especially big because they're both about the same size as the last 2 arcs were together. So I hope to get the My Otismon one out probably tonight, tomorrow, right in there. No idea on editing. I'm still very, I don't think that's going to work type, but never know. Probably tomorrow morning at the latest, hopefully. Might not even be edited, honestly, if it irks me too much. Software irks me. I'll just throw it out like I did the others. Consistency in a series, I guess, because that's always been my deal. But you never know. Not aside from that, I don't really have any other big irons in the fire. No big striking ideas. I'll probably try to veer away from themes. Like, March is International Women's Days in there, so I'll just do a bunch of movies about women. I did that last year. Won't do that. probably won't do that, especially because I have such an issue with getting scheduling out. And a lot of that is due both to me just being a procrastinator, and another part is my job. My weekends always alternate every week. And while I can't just plan ahead, I'm not very good at that. So kind of have to take that one as it goes. But I'll definitely try to veer away from that, uh, which isn't very good because I have another idea that I've really been wanting to do, and I have kept from doing that since I started doing written reviews. Because when I started, the first or second, I think it was the second franchise I did. Because the first franchise I did was the Wrong Turn franchise, the first 6. I'm not looking forward to doing them for YouTube. Well, at least the last 2. The first 3, the first 4 I can deal with. First four I'll throw on and watch. They're fine. Those last 2 are big. And then right directly after I did those, I did the first 10 Halloween films, the originals, through Rob Zombie's 2-pair. And yeah, back then I wasn't even doing them on YouTube. I was actually just doing a Microsoft Word file, and then here's your link, go do it. And back then it was pretty much all of my long-winded talking, which is exceptional, just jotted down. Like, it was literally deconstructing every scene. Here's, Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper playing, which is ironic because Michael Myers is the shape, and yeah. So, now that there's 13 of those, I'm not greatly looking forward to them, but it's also a very big horror franchise. And I have them, I love them, along with the other famous slashers. Might be missing 1 or 2 here or there, but I got them. Definitely something I've wanted to do is get back into those, cover those, just because I really do enjoy them overall. Some of the movies I'm like, this is amazing, this is great. Other movies I'm like, this is trash. But every series mostly. Another thing that I've wanted to cover but either never had the time or space is your bigger epics like the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit movies, because those are massive. So to cover them would be just insane. Absolutely nuts. But see what I can do. Might just turn it into more of a overall review, something like that. But I've been going for a half hour now, so pretty much. All right. Take it easy.